framework that we released last month sets out the government's long-term enduring approach in terms of adapting to climate change. It helps ensure that people know what the risks are that they face, and also importantly the plans to address them. I think the last aspect is that partnership is essential. We need to build a truly resilient economy, and we need to ensure that the risks in which we face as an economy and as a country are managed fairly across the sectors in which play their role. New Zealand needs to manage flood and climate risk, and the National Flood Map is the starting point for that partnership.
Pillar 1 focuses in on information about the natural hazard risks like flood and storms being readily available.
Owning a home is probably the largest investment that most people will make. And so it is vital that they have appropriate and accessible and accurate risk information to help inform that decision, and that flood mapping is a way to mitigate that risk. At a national level, it's great that the government and the Crown have put this out, and it's a step in the right direction.
And I think this development of a national flood plan, flood map among all those perils is quite a significant step forward, and we'd be quite valuable if we get it right. The important thing for us, for Suncorp and other insurers as well, is we have a social license as well as a commercial license to operate. Believe it or not, the most important thing that focuses our mind every day is how do we make the cover that we provide accessible to most Kiwis, if not all Kiwis, at a price that is of value. And so there's a literacy component there in the context of how do we help homeowners and future buyers of property and future, like our kids, where are they going to live, where they're going to buy, help them understand the hazard risk associated with the biggest asset they'll ever have.
Pillar 2 will be of interest to those of you in and close to local government, and this pillar looks at to clarify who is responsible for what.
We need a national direction. We need kind of consistency. 2023 showed us very quickly, sadly, we had Gabrielle sweep the country after we had one of our biggest disasters ever, and everyone was coming to the government with a different way of doing things, and it was kind of all over the show.
Pillar 3, the government wants communities to know what investment will happen in their areas.
It's trying to align who benefits from the investment. So that's all about the cost of the natural disaster. Mm-hmm. But if you flip it and say, well, how do we prevent it, or how do we build more resilience? That requires investment. So who benefits from the investment made in these areas that are higher priority for natural hazards? Well, it's not just homeowners, it's the Crown, it's the councils, it's business communities. So it's trying to think about that in the context of the beneficiaries. But it is a very vexed question. It's not something that necessarily has a clear answer to it today, but it is one that we will need to get an answer to, because everything hinges on that.
The final pillar looks at the notion of cost sharing both before and after an event.
I guess it is going to be a really tough change, and I don't think anyone is underestimating the difficulty of that, but it is a necessary move at the same time. I guess, the buyouts have helped out a lot of families for sure, but set that expectation of government support, which is not going to be sustainable. I do think that very clear message in this framework, though, about the value of investing before the damage, not after, is a really powerful piece of this piece of work. And ultimately, it is about fairness and clarity, and people do deserve to know what sort of support they're likely to get, and they need to know what risk they carry. It's not comfortable, but we need to make that shift and help people understand that.
Thank you, everyone, for making the time to participate in what it's a quite important discussion and topic for the future of New Zealand. And I can say with very, very strong conviction that New Zealand is leading the way on this adaptation. Not only do we have cross-party support and cross-sector support, but developing a framework on how this country prepares and adapts for climate change is unique. We as I said earlier, we couldn't find any jurisdictional globally that has done this. And so we're in the driving seat, and we've got a really good ability as Kiwis, despite the accent, to punch above our weight here. So, but it means we can't stop here. And as the Minister said, there's still a lot of work to do.